Hello, Nia. Hello, Kenton. It's Bob again. Today is day 105 since you guys have been ripped away from us. And we're not allowed to see you. Uncle Gabe, Auntie Ducky, Auntie Roro all miss you guys terribly. And Lilo too. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about this relationship. I have no words and can't explain this relationship at all. See, this is Stitch, little Kenton. And of course, Kenton, that's you. And there's just by the time you came along, Stitch was pretty old, banged up. I say banged up. He was just sick in a lot of ways. He had an injury to his back. He had arthritis, uh, and little did we know, but he also had bladder cancer. Uh, but he spent his life loving these kids that needed it and gave them all this love and caring and just was always there. He was a dog that would wait for his treats. He would not come to your plate, unlike Lilo. But he was just so calm, but at the same time he had this anxiety. His biggest anxiety was when one kid would leave the house. Didn't matter who. Some one person would leave the house to go to the store, go to school, and he would just panic the whole day. So everybody came back and we were together, and then he was calm. By the time you came around, most of the kids had left the house except for Uncle Gabe, and they grown up. So they didn't know what to make of you, and we were worried because we all love Stitch, we all love Lilo, but he had bitten you four times. That's why we couldn't explain it, and you always just seemed to come back to him. You always came back, and you didn't never seem like you were afraid of him. You just kind of understood that's what he did, but you were always curious about him. I mean, don't get me wrong. You love Lilo. You love Lilo to death. You love chasing her occasionally. You love giving her treats. Uh, of course, she saw your high chair come out. She'd come running just like Stitch, but she was begging, waiting. Stitch wanted you to give him something, and you loved her. But she was more Grandma and Mia's dog when it came to that. But from the very beginning, but Stitch was just curious about you. If you look in this picture, that's you, buddy. That's little you in that baby carrier. And of course, just like he did with your sister, for some reason he came home and he had to sniff you, he had to be around you, and then he got in the carrier with you. Uh, Maybe that was kind of foreshadowing your relationship. He was curious about you, you were curious about him. He had to sniff you, he had to, you know, he had to just be around you. And he wasn't a particularly snuggly dog. He just liked to be next to you. You know, he would snuggle with me and Uncle Gabe, but he just liked to be around you. And like I said, he bit you four times. And you guys came to some kind of agreement after the fourth time, like, hey, I'm not stopping. And he said, great, I'm not stopping either. And you guys went on for 2 years where you guys would sit and talk and have these baby dog conversations. And you would laugh and he would look and sniff, and sometimes he would start talking like dogs talk and just go, whoa, whoa, and you would talk right back like you understood him, and it was funny and it was touching all at the same time. And you were too young when we had to put him to sleep. Uh, he had bladder cancer. Doctor said there was nothing we could do. And you came home the day that we did, and you went looking for him. And you went to the back door, and you never could say his name, you just said Itch. But you went to the back door and you looked out there and you looked at me and you put your hands up and you said, Itch, Itch. And you couldn't, but you did something later on. Stitch's job, but he would walk in and he'd take care of Uncle Gabe and wake Uncle Gabe up every morning. And after Stitch was gone, took it over. You started going in there, and you'd go into Uncle Gabe, and you wake up and you touch his finger. You have to touch his finger with your finger to wake him up, like almost you took it over for Stitch. And I know that if he knew you did that, he'd be happy that you were taking care of his boy, and because he loved his boy, he did. He loved Gabe, and he'd be sad. He'd be really sad that you weren't here to do it now. But you love Stitch. You loved us. We love you, and we miss you. Me and Kenton one day will be together, and Kenton, you'll be able to wake up Uncle Gabe one day, give him the little finger, and Stitch will know that his job was carried on by someone good, someone trustworthy with his boy. Me and Kenton, we love you.